You have it, get back up. And so I can recall looking and watching the wrestling match, and Juan Humberto is my favorite wrestler. And somebody get him down, and his shoulders against, and the referee would go, and I'd say, raise your shoulder, Juan! Get it up! Get it up! Hey, Juan, get it up! Get it up! Get it up! Please get it up! And we'd all scream. What was it? Juan, you're about to be pinned. Okay, so you're down. Okay, so you're pressed. Okay, don't lose. Don't be pinned. Get the shoulder up. And I'm talking to somebody this morning. The devil's got you down. I mean, the devil has pressed you. Don't let him pin you. Get back on your feet. Hold your shoulder up. Stay in the battle. Don't quit. Don't quit. Now look down in the next place. It said perplexed, but not in despair. Now bear in mind, trouble, not distress, means pressed, but not pinned. Next, perplexed, but not in despair. I checked that out, and here's what it says. It says, no way to go, but found one. In football language, would say, no hole, but he went through the line anyway. They must have had some kind of a game back in those days like football, where that you had to go through a line of men. And Paul said, okay, you come, you get the ball, you put it under your arm, you run toward the line. Now, you and I both know, those of us who know football know that you say, a fellow, they made a hole in right tackle. The tackle blocked this way and the guard blocked this way and the fellow goes through the hole. But there are times when the fellow won't block. There are times when the opposing fellow does not feel led to be moved. And so the fellow runs, there's no hole. Now, you've seen runners like Gale Sayers. They don't have to have a hole. They just go on through. So Paul is saying, are you pressed? Don't be pinned like a wrestler. Are you unable to get through? Can't find your way through? Find a way through like a football player. For the third place it says, persecuted but not forsaken. And I checked that, and he is talking about a runner in a race. And he says, falling behind, but not left behind. Falling behind, but not left behind. Now follow me. Paul comes to people this morning in this room. Some of you, the devil's got you down. Some of you have stumbled in sin. Some of you students in college have submitted demerits that you're off the list, or you've been kicked out of school. Or you have some demerits and you're about to be expelled from school. Some of you high school students have not had a good semester, and you've not lived right, and you've not been right with God, and you've done things wrong, and you know it, and you've been punished for it, and you're down. And some of you folks this morning in this room, some of you dear older people, God bless you. Health has not been your lot this year. You've had many reversals, and you don't feel well, and you spent some time in the hospital. Or maybe this morning you have a loved one in the hospital. Or maybe life has been unkind to you, seemingly, and there have been many reversals. Paul comes to those of you this morning who've been knocked down or been set back a bit, and Paul says, okay, you're down. But he said, like a wrestler, you're pressed, but don't be pinned. Like a football ball carrier, you don't find a hole, but go through anyway. Like a runner, you have been left behind, but catch up. And like a boxer, you're knocked down, but you're not knocked out. Now, may I take just a few minutes with each one of these. First, pressed but not pinned. Pressed but not pinned. I'm talking this morning to a widow in this building. Numbers of you, but I'm thinking of one now. You have some children. You've had to rear the children by yourself. You've had to make a living. You've had to be a mother and a father. Christmas is coming. You don't know how you're going to finance the children's Christmas, and you don't know what you're going to say to the children. And it just seems like the whole weight of the world is down upon your shoulders. And it seems like that you've been pressed down. Let me tell you something, dear lady. Don't be pinned. Don't give up. Don't let your shoulder touch the mat. Don't be pinned. Get up! Get up! There's always a way out. My Lord knows the way through the wilderness. All I have to do is follow. Strength for today is mine all the way, and all that I need for tomorrow. My Lord knows the way through the wilderness, and all I have to do is follow. You got any rivers that seem to be uncrossable? Got any mountains you cannot tunnel through? God specializes in things that seem impossible. He knows 1,000 ways to make a way for you. I'm simply saying, if the load of life has you bent down today, and if the devil's on top of you, and the doctor pressed you, shoulder. Hold it up. Don't let it pin you. God will give you the strength to win the victory. If you're pressed, don't be pinned. I was sitting on the platform last Monday night at the Highland Park Baptist Church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I spoke to the 3,500 delegates of the annual convention of the Southwide Baptist Fellowship. I looked and I saw the men on the platform. Sitting right over here. Over here was Dr. Jack Hudson, pastor of the Northside Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dr. Hudson walks like this. He's drooped over like this. And he's built the largest church in all of North Carolina. He has rheumatoid arthritis, I understand. And he'll never be able to straighten up again. And he walks, you know him, Brother Helton, he walks with a stooped shoulder all the time. There was a time when the doctor said he couldn't make it. There was a time when they said he'd never be able to preach or pastor a church. He was pressed, but he wouldn't be pinned. He got up off the mat. Now he's got the devil down, about to pin him. Has built the largest church in all of North Carolina, pressed but not pinned. On the program also, sitting beside me, was the great Dr. Lee Robertson. Dr. Robertson, when he was a pastor of the large Highland Park Baptist Church in Chattanooga, the largest church in Tennessee and one of the largest churches in the world. Dr. Robertson, when his young man, his little girl Joy, was taken in death, he was pressed, but he wasn't pinned. I can recall the day when his local association of Baptists censored him and tried to put him out of business, and he was on the bottom. He was pressed, but he wasn't pinned. Just last year, his voice began to fail him. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "You have paralyzed vocal cords. You'll never preach again." I was in Chattanooga preaching at Dr. Robertson's church last February. I leaned over and I said, "Dr. Robertson, how long has it been since you preached?" And he said with a weak voice, he said, "It's been many weeks." I said, "Would you ever preach again?" And Dr. Robertson said, "The doctors say there's no hope. There's no hope." Can you imagine that great man of God never being able to open his Bible and preach the Word of God again? He was pressed, but not pinned. And a few months ago, he walked in his pulpit, and I'm happy to announce to you that he's preaching every Sunday morning and every Sunday night and every Wednesday night in his pulpit. I'm simply saying, every great man I know has had times when he was down and his shoulders about to be pinned, and we shouted, "Lift up your shoulder, one! Lift it up!" And the man lifted it up, and under the great load of burden of sin and disease and discomfort and heartache and sorrow and sadness, he was about to be pinned, but he lifted his shoulders up, and he would not be pinned, and he rose to win the victory. We heard the other day, well, I'll go on about this meeting. I looked up and I saw Dr. Monroe Parker sitting over here on the left, great evangelist. Dr. Parker, when his young man, he and his wife were riding down the highway, a drunken driver came over the hill, hit him head on, killed his wife instantly. He was pressed, but he was not pinned. Looked back in the back, and though he was not speaking, there was Dr. John Rice sitting back in the back of the platform, and Dr. John Rice was 6 years of age. His mother died, and he has had no mother for these over 70 years. He was pressed, but he was not pinned. Dr. Bill Rice, little baby girl, when he lived in Chicago, Dr. Bill Rice, little baby girl, got sick and had a 106-degree temperature, and the doctor said she has spinal meningitis, I think it was, some kind of disease, and said her eardrums had been burned. She'll never hear again. And that little girl has never heard from that day till this. She's been stone deaf. And Dr. Bill was pressed, and Kathy was pressed, but they were not pinned. Let me tell you something this morning. The great difference in success and failure in life is what it takes to pin you. Everybody's going to get pressed. Everybody's going to be thrown down. Well, I can recall that this church this morning, becoming the first church in 2 weeks to ever have 20,000 in Sunday school, and the biggest Sunday school and biggest attendance of any church in the whole world. And we're on top. The sun is shining brightly. A new building is about to be built. And blessed be God, I took a physical and passed it too. And that's the most wonderful thing of all. But I'm saying that it's bright now and the sun is shining. It's not always been that way. There are those of you that can recall the times when I walked in this pulpit and we wondered if it would be counted out. But every time it seemed like the devil got this church down and got our shoulders against the mat, it seemed like that somebody came up to the preacher and said, "Preacher, I'm for you." And that pulled my shoulder off the mat again. Oh, you listen to me. It's no disgrace to be down. It's a disgrace to stay down. It's no disgrace to get pressed. It's a disgrace to get pinned. Rise up, O people of God. Lee Robertsons are made from men who are pressed but not pinned. First Baptist churches of Hammond are made from people who are pressed but not pinned. Success is made from people who are pressed and down and defeated but will not quit. Rise up and win the battle in the end. But there's a second. No hole, but he found one. Where it says, perplexed but not in despair, it means no way to get through. The word perplexed there means, I don't see a way. I don't see a single way. And this morning there are some of you that cannot see your way through tomorrow. No way! Likens it to a football player